Welcome to the Not Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Hey, and look at me with potato quality.
Yes.
I couldn't get my
Let me
fancy...
guess, you're using like a Game Boy Advance camera or something
Yes,
today?
this is my Game Boy Advance cam.
Ooh.
It took me like 6 hours to route all the mechanics around and get it hooked in and convert it to HDMI, but and it looks jerky on my end, of course. Have we got any word from our producer? Is he with us today?
It does look like we have some viewers showing up, so hopefully he will pop in, because, yeah, it is looking
pretty potato.
Oh, and it is just frozen up on YouTube.
That's excellent. Wonderful. That's what we always look forward to.
Audio is great. Video is from 1997 from producer Todd.
Okay, well, you know what that means.
Now, is it the quality of Dave's video, or and
No.
Wes chimed in with haha accurate description?
No, I think it's the frame rate's probably really, really low. So I jettisoned some items. So we'll see.
Yes. Oh, yes. There's the errors from YouTube. Now they're chiming in as well.
Yeah. Well, I quit a couple apps, so hopefully it'll correct itself in a moment. It looks like it's already starting to get better.
Dave's thing hand in the background is great from
Nice.
producer Todd. One of the problems with the YouTube chat, the way it shows it to me in the live chat, there's the heart thing where I can do hearts and stuff, but it puts it right over the words of the last chat. That is...
This thing?
Seems like, yes. Oh, look, yours is working on there, maybe? Oh, I hit pause on that, so...
Why does it feel like we're streaming for the first time every time we stream?
Every week feels like the first time.
Yeah. If there's only some other things that could apply to. Hey-o!
Hey-o. Well, maybe we will look into some of the alternatives that we've talked about for live streaming options, just that we...
Yeah.
But your camera isn't working. You had all kinds of fun.
Yeah.
To be had.
Looks like, I mean, I turned on my iPad the thing, and for the most part it looks like we're getting more than 2 frames per second. So
yes, it is looking better in the YouTube studio live streaming studio section there as well. And before we get into anything else, Dave, I wanted to check in out in the ether there, Mr. Chris Kent, who several weeks ago we gave him some marital advice and we haven't heard back since. So, Chris, blink twice if you're okay, or let us know by private channels if your wife has banned you from the podcast because of said advice.
my guess is she took him out on a vacation.
Yes.
And he's buried somewhere.
So there'll be a Dateline episode due to we'll be called in for the marital advice we gave on his wife still being on Android. But anyways, I do want to point out I was going through some hats and I came across one of my many Pabst Blue Ribbon trucker hats.
Look at that.
The old red, white, and blue, a little Veterans Day colors there. It's even got a Pabst patch on the side.
Look at that.
I used to drink a lot of PBR. I referred to it as Nectar of the Gods for a while, alongside Diet Coke, neither of which I consume much of anymore, but I figured I'd bust this hat out so that I can wait like 3 months and then do another PBR hat.
I think that's fantastic.
And producer Todd is saying the video has been fixed.
Yeah.
So good job.
Welcome to 10 minutes ago. I saw that already. So here, as we're talking video, I'm using that Power Conference C200 Anchor webcam
previous pick of the week.
Yeah, I'm unpicking it. We talked about this before. It's through numerous firmware updates, they still haven't fixed this problem. It it seems to have an auto gain feature that is so overblown. Like maybe the
Yeah.
my particular camera's defective, but my thought is if you're shipping defective stuff, I mean, who wants a crapshoot?
Yes.
Um, anyway, it was better than my built-in camera for a while until I noticed all these problems. Like here's the very low light. Oh, here, let me get off one more light here. And this is relevant for the people who like the behind the scenes, like Wes and others. So those at home are aboard. Okay, so here, so maybe that was a problem all along is my overhead light. But I'm virtually in no light here. But look how
Yeah.
blown out my
Oh, the back is just, yeah,
yeah.
completely. Hey, real-time follow-up on our error. It says the stream's current bitrate, 1702.23 kilobits per second, is lower than the recommended, well, message is cut off, bitrate. We recommend that you use a stream bitrate of 6,800 kilobits per second.
I'm gonna do it, but watch what happens. It'd probably kill us. 6,800 kilobits per second.
Yes, which should be more than fine for your internet connection going to YouTube, you
Okay,
would
I'm gonna
think.
click OK, Nate. I don't. I.
Oh, and guess who we summoned into the chat?
Oh
Mr.
no.
Chris Kent,
Well,
who
Chris.
said, shh.
Well, wait. I'm hearing something from somebody's wife, so I'm gonna click a button. If it goes offline, it's her fault.
Yeah.
Okay, here it goes. Did
Yeah.
it crash? Did anything happen?
He said he's hiding in the closet listening to the show. Well, Chris, I'm glad you're okay. Uh, that's awesome that I thought of that, and then here you are joining us.
Yeah,
Dave, with all the fun you had, were you able to grab a coffee mug for this evening's episode?
I wasn't, but I do have a drink, and I just want to remind people of the wonders of Coke
Oh,
Zero Sugar. Uh,
oof.
now, Nate is shaking his head at this and saying it's far too sweet for me because he
Yes,
has an aboriginal diet of
yes.
zero sugar.
Aboriginal diet.
And so
Uh,
this, even though it has zero sugar, has lots of sweetness, and it would just
yeah,
shock his system so much he'd probably go into pass
yes,
out.
yes, indeed. Very nice. Well, hey, we're like half an hour in. Should we maybe get into some follow-up?
I don't know. That sounds like a good idea to me.
Okay. First one, we mentioned it last week. I just mentioned it in passing because I had just seen like a couple headlines, but OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, they actually had a keynote last Monday, so that's why I was starting to see stuff come through, where they announced some new features and everything, which we talked about. But Ben Thompson over at Stratechery, his free article of the week last week was on the OpenAI keynote, and Dave, I know you know his articles. He goes into um, intense depth of the state of AI, consumers,
Hmm.
and hardware. He draws his own graphs and images in there. But if you're curious, kind of what's going on with OpenAI and ChatGPT and their new GPTs, which you can tailor your own version of a chat GPT.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was pretty interesting looking through that, and some of it goes way over even my head. Um, but he's kind of talking about how, phones have kind of settled in and what's next, and AI. I think ChatGPT, it's been almost exactly a year since it was released. And they said in the keynote they have 100 million with an M monthly active users. So everybody that's like, oh, nobody's using ChatGPT, 100 million's nothing to shake a stick at. And they've also been able to, because if you use their API in your own app to access ChatGPT, that was costing people quite a bit of money. They've lowered the prices on that quite a bit. So
Yeah, I thought about, uh, well, it's Midjourney that does the video or the pictures, isn't it?
Uh, OpenAI has their DALL-E
Oh, okay.
one that's starting to be integrated in with ChatGPT, where it's kind of like a whole whole thing.
A
Um,
holistic.
Holistic cost.
A
Do, do,
it's been
do.
a while. I couldn't find a button.
Yes, yeah, but there are more and more of the image generators. Photoshop, I've been using that one a lot. Use that a lot for our show art. If you go back a couple weeks, all the capybaras were courtesy of Photoshop. There's Midjourney, which goes through Discord, and that one just confuses me. We've talked about that, but OpenAI has their DALL-E um, program. DALL-E 3 is the current version, and
Hmm.
you can do stuff through that. But I think there's a couple others. I need to test some of them out, and I think Open or ChatGPT for their like pro version, I think it's $20 a month. You can do a free trial of it. But the Dolly 3, it's got some impressive looking stuff for the AI image generation.
Yeah.
But
Well, if the prices have gone down, I would consider perhaps, um,
trying it out.
yeah, trying it out. But it's like I want to try a bunch of different things, and I don't want to get a bill at the end that says, "Oh, you owe us $5,000 or something."
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's I don't think it works like that. Midjourney, there is a pro version of that as well, where
Hmm.
you pay to get faster access, which um, I would do that if I got into it, just because I tried doing it a couple times and I never got any images back, minor detail. So
That is a tip.
yes, and in things that you forgot were even happening. The Hollywood actors' strike ends with a deal that will impact AI and streaming for decades.
I don't want to turn on my web browser, so there you go. We're gonna do a
Oh, nice. Do the handheld web viewer there.
yeah, and see, it actually looks good right there. So
Yeah.
who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? Look,
So,
I thought my forehead could be visible for a moment, but it's not.
nice. I heard some discussion on this and read through this article from Wired. They haven't, or at least as of late last week, they hadn't announced the kind of the details of it, but from what I've heard, the AI usage of somebody's likeness, um, they got some of that written in there, so they won't just be able to freely use your image forever if they've captured you once. Now, where the details come in is they were looking for more money off of streaming,
Hmm.
and from what I remember hearing, they wanted like billions of dollars to start going towards actors and royalties and all that stuff, and it's like in the $50 million. So that part doesn't sound real great for the actors side, but apparently they'll be able to finally start working again. So
Hmm.
we might get some new stuff eventually.
Excellent.
Yes, yes, indeed. And I can't remember if we talked about this from Spotify. I think maybe we mentioned that it was coming at some point, but Spotify brings audiobooks offering to US subscribers.
Yes. Oh, just in time for an ad. No, no. You know what
Yes.
happened is
Spotify opened up.
no. I got close to my HomePod Mini and it wanted to
Oh,
transfer.
yes, yes. So the podcast and music platform will offer US paid subscribers 15 hours of free listening to audiobooks as it continues its rollout of the new offering. So I mean, you could probably get a book in a month for 15 hours.
Maybe. Yeah, probably. I mean,
And
if
that
it's
is
free
if you're,
audiobooks, it's going to have ads in it, though, won't it?
well, it's only for premium members.
Oh yeah.
So I
Well,
would, but Spotify, I'm a premium member and I still get ads during podcasts and stuff. So
well, yeah.
more than 200,000 audiobooks will be on offer at launch, not at lunch. Well, if you listen at lunch, including popular titles such as Britney Spears' The Woman in Me, Jada Pinkett Smith's Worthy, and Jesmyn Ward's Let Us Descend. That is because this article comes from Hollywood Reporter.
Or Woman's
Those
Day
are
or something.
exactly. Cosmopolitan. If a subscriber hits the limit of 15 hours of listening per month, they can opt to purchase 10 more hours or purchase the book.
Can you just wait till the next month? Or is it,
You would sure think so.
it may not work that way. You've
But I will
already listened to
remind
15.
people
Yeah.
of Libby and Overdrive. Those are the two that many local libraries will offer where you can get free audiobooks. Chelsea uses that
There was a new
all the
one.
time.
What was it? I downloaded it. It was a new app that kind of did the same. Canopy. It's not new,
Oh,
but Canopy is another one you should look at for books
yes,
and stuff.
I have heard something about that. But yeah,
Start
if
and
you're a
Canopy
Spotify
with a K.
Canopy with a K, if you are a Spotify Premium member, you can in the US you can start checking that out.
Hmm.
And next up in the iOS 17.2 beta 2, I think is where we're at. Apple iPhone Spatial Video arrives and looks amazing on Vision Pro. So uh, I love this. This is what we're doing permanently because, for one, it keeps me on the screen, and
Yeah.
for two, it just adds some street cred, you showing the articles on your phone each time.
Well, our other
Um,
one shows you in a little bubble
well,
sometimes
yes, but
when
a
it's
larger
working.
me.
Yeah.
Yes. But in the beta, you can now start recording the spatial videos if you have an iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max. So I went ahead and installed, they
Oh,
have a public beta now. So I went and installed it. So if you go into the video, and Dave, you're going to love this feature.
okay. Here, I'm
So
going to switch.
if you go in there and then right over here, there's some little Vision Pro goggles, and I
Yeah.
turn that on, and Dave, what does it tell me there?
Rotate your phone to landscape like God intended.
Yes, you can only record the spatial videos
Well, I mean,
in
yeah.
landscape
I
because
mean,
it
some
is using these two cameras right
how do
here.
they know
The
some people aren't wearing their headset like this?
Well, that's true.
They don't know.
But it's using the ultra wide and the normal lens, and
Well, let's
um,
define normal.
yes, yes, the wide lens, as they call it. But it records the videos in 1080p at 30 frames per second, and it records them in the HEVC format, high efficiency video container,
Hmm.
because that video spec allows for saving two video streams in a video file. So your files will be a little bit larger. You can't view them anywhere yet, but you can start capturing things so that when you go get your Apple Vision Pro, you'll be able to view these 3D videos. Now, they did have a special event for a bunch of the press where they got to go try this out, record some videos, and then view them in the Vision Pro. And they say it looks absolutely amazing. John Gruber was also talking about that he's really kicking himself for not taking more panoramic photos over the years
Mm.
because he says, when you look at a panoramic photo on your phone, it looks kind of janky a little bit.
It's
He
just really
said,
wide.
yeah, it is such a surreal experience in the Apple Vision Pro to look at panoramic
Well,
photos.
I wonder how my 360-degree photos and
Oh,
videos
yeah.
from my X3 camera are going to
Yeah.
look. And hey, don't before I'm going to ask you a question, but then we're going to go to the chat. Um, so before you answer this, will you or will you not be purchasing the Vision Pro when it comes out? So don't answer yet. We got to
Okay.
switch to our
Our live chat.
our live chat. Dr. RIPVHS says, I'm just going to do a voice, but I know what he sounds like, so I can't mimic his voice. No lie, I want to read Brittany's book, and as ridiculous as it sounds, Jessica Simpson's autobiography is really, really good. And he also says, Canopy is associated with the public library. It's great.
Nice.
As impressive as it is that Dave hold his hand so steady, why is he holding the stupid hearts in my way? The phone instead of screen sharing. Am I missing something? Uh, well, the only thing you're missing is one. Nate's off camera here. I'm gonna switch myself.
Yes.
The only thing you're missing is I've been having some trouble with my setup today, and I did not want to tempt fate by trying to plug in another device and do a share like that. So, but that's very astute of you to remember that I have a little overlay that can, I mean, I can turn on the overlay. There's nothing in it right here, but I don't want to break anything. So that is why. Um, each and every week, we like to bring to you the latest in technology, and doing so causes us to have incredibly difficult challenge in making our stuff work great. But
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. Th- Something about the new operating system is wreaking havoc on some things, but that's why we're the nerds and we're upgrading. And those of you at home who are not nerds should learn from our mistakes. All right, Nate, it
Yes.
looks like you're back in frame,
I'm back
maybe?
in frame. Sorry,
Okay.
I was doing something to prepare my pick of the week
Mm.
later in the show and having to do some odd stretching and moving around. But
We need
I
a
am
under the
back.
desk cam so we can see what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yes. And speaking of under the desk cam, it's time for Dave's pro tip of the week.
And the pro tip this week is going to be a little bit lame, and it's one that we've done before. Um, full disclosure, I start kind of prepping and getting ready for the show, sometimes usually 2 hours before, well, an hour and a half before the show typically. But sometime around 5 o'clock or 5:30, I start getting things together. And when I run into problems, I only have a half hour before Nate and I connect, and then we only have a half hour to get things going again. So I have a lack of preparedness as usual. And you might say, well, Dave, you could get your pro tips, you could get 10 of them lined up. And uh,
To
Nate's
which I would
laughing.
say, you don't know Dave.
Yeah, I put the pro in procrastinate, if you know what I'm saying. So this one we've covered before, but it's new every time, really. And this one is the pro tip is search your phone for an app called Tips. And you might
Yes.
not even need I'm working myself out of a job here. You might not even need this podcast. But if you do so, like on iOS 17, there's a tips app, and it is full of all kinds of tips, many of which I have used on this very podcast. Um, I will read a few for your listening pleasure. If you go to Beyond the Basics section, keep track of your subscriptions. That's a tip we've covered before. How to do that, you go in the settings. Rename your iPhone so that when you're trying to airdrop to somebody, it doesn't just say iPhone parenthesis 24 parenthesis or something like
Yes.
that. Stay connected while traveling internationally. That sounds intriguing. And storage for the whole family. That is a mere 4 examples of what the uh, Tips app will give you on iOS 17 and iOS 16 and 15. This Tips has been around for a while, but look on your iPad or your iPhone, regardless of your current operating system, and you should see a Tips app which can really answer a lot of questions. It's the missing manual, so to speak, for iOS.
Yes, yes, it is. And I forget to go there. It'll kind of prompt you, and they've gotten better about giving you little prompts after you update about, hey, did you remember
Yeah,
that this is there? Or
but
did
it's
you
always
know?
in the worst time, right?
I
It's like,
know,
oh, I
because
need
you're
to
hurrying up to do something,
there's a
and
squirrel killing another squirrel. I got to film it. Oh, did you know that you could make
yes,
no, skip. Oh, I missed the squirrel. So it's always at
yes.
the worst time.
Yes. Yeah. So this app's on your phone. It'll walk you through stuff. And again, if you find something great in there that you think we should cover on the show as a pro tip of the week,
Hmm.
that would make Dave's job easier
Yeah.
and all that good stuff. And I will just remind people for all of our live viewers, as well as people watching later on YouTube, why don't you just go hit that like button real quick on the video? I've actually opened the YouTube app on my phone, and from my personal account, I just liked the video. How about you? Dave, did you like the video on your other device?
No, because I do not want to risk taking down the live stream. I'm not touching anything.
Yeah, Dave, don't touch anything. So everybody, oh, we got another like. I just saw it pop up on there.
Well, and it looks
Ah,
like is it Wes, I believe, has said, I was just looking for audiobooks. I'll gee, and I say gee because the little heart icon is covering it. I'll gee
yes,
connected to Canopy. I'm I'm
very.
I'm going to use my big brain. It probably says get, but who would
Yes, it
know?
does say get.
Oh, there we go. You can.
It's
Oh,
showing in a different spot on mine, so it's not covered by the heart there.
yeah. So I know that producer Todd and I have discussed this stupid heart is right
Yeah,
over the text of the latest chat.
it
What?
is horrible user interface.
And it's not like they don't have tens of thousands of engineers and user interface
Well, and
designers.
hundreds of millions of people watching live videos and having the same issue. I
Yeah,
Come
it's
on,
dumb.
Google, get your act together.
Oh, but they did remind us to guard our privacy in the chat. Thanks, Google.
Oh,
We appreciate
yes.
that.
Yeah, if everybody in the live chat, if you could go ahead and just type in your social security numbers and date of birth,
Don't do that.
that would be great.
Don't do
And
that. Don't even suggest it. There's going to be one guy that's
one
like, well,
guy
they
putting
told
his
me
social
to.
security number in there. Well, it is time for everybody's favorite segment, just the headlines. Dave, are you going to hold the driveway cam up on your phone in your window there for us so that we can see what's happening in your? Oh, you have to pull it off the wall.
Why not?
There it is.
I
Oh
can't see
yes,
what I'm looking at here.
it's almost thinking about focusing.
Here, let's do
It's
this.
not quite Sony glass level there.
Oh, what now? Now everything's out of focus. What did I just break my camera by trying to?
Trying to focus things.
Okay, we'll do this because it's
Ah,
funny.
okay, there you go. And just the headlines. WeWork seeks bankruptcy protection in stunning fall for a company once valued close to 50 billion with a B dollars.
WeWork won't work.
Washington D.C. gives residents free AirTags to help track stolen cars.
I need to move there.
After luring customers with low prices, Amazon stuffs Fire TVs with ads.
Surprise nobody.
Las Vegas Sphere reports 98.4 million with an M dollar loss. CFO quits.
No comment.
Nintendo is making a live action Zelda
Now
movie.
I have some comments on this, but this is just the
Yes,
headlines.
yes, and that is just the headlines.
Yes,
And
it
it's
is.
not fair for me to have a Nintendo Zelda story in just the headlines and not let you comment.
It
So
is not. There have been lots
you
of
may do
discussions
that at this
online.
point.
Oh, thank you for the permission, as if I've ever asked permission to go off
Yeah,
on a diatribe or a
Dave,
little,
you
this
yeah,
is
you
a
may talk. I give you
sidestep.
30 seconds. The chair recognizes Dave for 30 seconds.
Thank you, Senator from the independent nation of Sealand.
Yes.
Um, so they made the Mario movie, and a lot of people were like, I don't know about this. Chris Pratt being woohoo Mario, but it was pretty good. I liked it. It's very
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
Um, so when people heard that there might be a Legend of Zelda, they were thinking, oh, it'll be animated of some sort, but they're going to do a live action. Well, for those of you who know, historically, with very few exceptions, none of the games had the chief protagonist, Link. His name is not Zelda. Link doesn't talk. And so, how are they going to do this live
Mm,
action without him talking? He's capable of talking. They just don't voice the character in the
yes.
game. He just goes, "Uh, ah, yeah, those type of things. And so my guess is they're just going to have somebody voice the character, and it's just, you have to
Yeah,
get
so
used
it'll
to it.
probably be Chris Pratt. I think I
Yeah.
saw he's doing Garfield's. I
Oh,
mean, that
really?
guy, yeah. Um, he
Why?
does every single voice
Every
ever and character. That guy, you can't get rid of him.
Yeah.
Um,
Who would have known when he was a fat guy in a couch in a cast on Parks and Rec all those years ago that he would be a
yes,
superhero, he would be a Garfield, he'd be a Mario, he'd be a Lego voice, he'd be
he'd
everything.
be it all. I do want to, since Chris has joined us this evening,
Oh, I'm sorry,
we
Chris. I didn't mean to say those bad things about you.
I did
Oh,
want to bring up, I
not
think
Chris
he,
Pratt.
oh, not Chris Pratt.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
Chris Kent.
Kent.
Sorry,
Okay,
sorry.
different.
Pretty
Okay.
much the same person in
Yeah.
my mind. But several months ago, we talked about that service called Telly,
Mm,
where they would give you a free TV. And I know that Chris had signed up for it,
I'm familiar
and
with their
wondering if he had
show.
heard anything back because this week I did get an email from them. And I might have a free TV soon from Telly. Now, this
Now,
is the one that has like a second screen with ads on it.
is that the
But
purple one that's got the screen and the triangle in his head? What are we
no,
talking
that
about
was
here?
not the Teletubby. This is
Okay.
Telly, T-E-L-L-Y,
Okay.
and we
Because he
talked
had a
about the.
screen. Okay.
Yes, yes, he
You
did.
can see how I'm confused.
Yes, Telly, which maybe that's why they named it that. You can
Maybe.
sign up to get on the list to get a free TV, and they're trying to revolutionize by giving out free TVs with this second screen that'll be kind of interactive, so you can see like menus and stuff like that down there. Obviously, I don't know a lot about it. The details, I did hear an interview with the founder or whatever. But they seem pretty motivated, and it sounds like I'm going to get one. So we might have some more information on that
So it's just
soon.
an ad-supported television set,
Yes.
and it's
But the
actually going to
ads are on a
work.
second screen. So almost imagine the way I envision it is like a sound bar under the TV
Or my
that
touch
has
bar
a
on my
screen on
Mac,
it.
which is
Yeah, yes.
suspiciously turned off right now.
Oh
Weird.
no.
It's a little
Wow.
frightening.
Yes. Anyways, so more on Telly soon, but let us move on to our takes of the week. And we had a bunch of AI stuff last week, and again, it's like it's a plague right now.
Hmm,
But there is a company called Humane, and they officially launched the AI pin. It's OpenAI, back to OpenAI, powered wearable. Dave, have you
okay.
seen any coverage on this little gem here, the human AI pin?
I believe I've heard of it, but I haven't, excuse me, pardon me. It's that soda. I really haven't seen any articles or anything. I just heard about it, but I've got a
Yes.
picture here. Um,
Yeah. So basically, if you imagine, take a non-AirPods Pro case and you like cut out a part and put a little screen on it, then you attach that to your shirt. Now it has a couple different features. It has a always on listening, so it's listening for you to ask it questions and all this stuff. It also has a little
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get in focus again.
in focus.
Okay, there
Uh,
we go. Keep
don't
going, keep
mind the
going. Ignore
dancing
me.
monkey in the back.
Ignore me.
Um, it's got a little projector so that it'll like project on your hand like the time or the weather. So that's like more the real screen because the screen on it is very tiny.
Like a
So they
little
did this
OLED screen or something.
announcement, and it's two people that came from Apple. And it was actually kind of funny because they put out a 7-minute video introducing the Humane AI pin,
Hmm.
and they looked just miserable in the video, like just no enthusiasm. And somebody went back and found when they introduced like markup in iMessages where you could like write over a picture to send it to somebody, and they just
Mm-hmm.
had the biggest smiles. In this video, they just look kind of like, hey, we've got this thing and it's going to be really great. But
Maybe they're
here's,
overconfident.
yes, here's the problem. I believe the price tag is $699 and then $30 a month.
That is quite high.
Yes, it does have a built-in camera that takes 13 megapixel photos
Okay.
and will capture video as well after a software update. Um, but it, and I guess you do have to activate the device before it'll start listening. I'm sure that's just for battery life, so it doesn't
Hmm.
isn't listening all the time. Um, but in the discussion I've heard people talking about, it's like we've got our phones. A lot of us have smartwatches. Like,
They even have those Aura rings that are smart rings.
yeah, the smart rings. Like, I don't. People are having a hard time
That was not
seeing
one,
what
by the
the.
way.
No,
That's an
that is
18 karat tube that
dumb
they
ring.
cut.
You
Yeah,
still wearing a dumb ring, Dave?
it's so dumb. I mean, it does. I don't even think it has a stamp on the. I can't remember what machine we got it and how many quarters it cost, but anyway, there it is.
Yes, yes. So this Humane thing, I mean, they've raised a ton of money. They're coming out with this product, and I just I don't see the need for it. But
But
maybe once people start using it, I think some of the ideas to kind of get away from your smartphone and kind of the same idea as the watch, where it's like you can quickly interact with it and you can do AI stuff without having to use your phone.
hey, Facebook Meta, Mark Zuckerberg Inc.
Yes,
or whatever.
yes, I've heard of him.
Yeah, they have those version 2 of the
Oh yeah, the
goggles.
smart glasses, and Amazon has theirs as well.
I kind of want to get those, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, I definitely found my screenshot for the album artwork.
I
Dave
think
having fun with glasses.
I've actually been tempted to get those glasses, but it's all part of this wearable technology. I think I would rather have glasses that can play music, can record video or take a picture. I would really love one that gives me augmented information through a little projector, but
Yes, yeah.
more than just an
Pin.
Alexa I can carry around with me on my
Yes.
chest. So,
Yeah, so it says in this Verge article, what Humane is trying to do with the pin is essentially strip away all the interface cruft from your technology. It won't have a home screen or lots of settings and accounts to manage. The idea is that you can just talk to or touch the pin, say what you want to do or know, and it'll happen automatically. So
yeah. Oh, and
I don't
maybe
know.
maybe you said this before, but not Chris Pratt says he has no TV yet. Did you mention that already?
Oh, I did not. I
Yeah.
did not. So, yeah, we'll see when those tele TVs start rolling through.
Yeah.
Back to that.
But technology is just, yeah. I don't know. Again, I would rather have something cool like that versus just a badge. It's like Star Trek. It's
Yes.
like engage number
Yes.
one, whatever.
Now, if they did a Star Trek edition of it and it
If
wasn't $700 and 30 bucks a month,
if they
then
made one that looked like the Star Trek symbol and it was like
yes.
metal and you tapped it, then we're talking.
Then we're talking.
Yeah.
Let's get on that. This next one's actually a video that you sent me.
Mm.
The Sony A9 III, and I've seen some other people, and maybe I mean, the video is very interesting. So it's F Stoppers YouTube channel with, oh man, everybody go subscribe. They're at 998,000 subscribers, so close to a million. But he got a preview of this Sony A9 III. And oh yeah, there we go. We'll just watch the video off Dave's phone through his
It's not
video.
working very well. There's too much glare. Oh, there we go.
And
That's
Dave, I'm guessing you watched the video and he
I
explained
did.
it. And basically, it is a revolutionary way of doing digital imagery where instead of kind of a rolling where it goes down and scans each line, it's just taking the photos, ultra fast shutter speed, what it say, up to 1/800th of a second or something.
Yeah.
Um, but
If if I could explain in layman's terms using my hands because
yes,
I don't have any other
because hands.
technology. Here's the sensor and there's a shutter involved and it'll capture the data like this, and then that's a complete picture and it goes to the next frame and it'll capture all this stuff. And when you're moving your camera and that type of stuff, the position of the camera by the time the sensor finishes writing to the bottom, it's moved. And so you
Yeah.
kind of get this jelly scrolling looking stuff. Well, the holy grail has been we want a sensor that can capture everything at once without having to have this rolling shutter type mechanism. And that's what this camera does. Every frame that comes in is recorded all at once.
Yeah.
And there's all these advantages. And as you were saying, it's a continuous stream of data that's not separated by these artificial little frames.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
very
And
cool.
it does look crazy. And now you can go pre-order one at B&H Photo for $5,998 for
Oh,
just the
pre-ordered.
camera body without glass. But it does have some key features here. Up to 120 frames per second continuous shooting with autofocus and auto exposure. So you could take 120 pictures in a second where it's still autofocusing. And it
Hmm.
also, he talked in the video about a pre-capture function where it can actually like capture the photo before you even
It's
like
putting it
it's
in a
just
buffer
yeah.
continuously. Then when you hit the button, it goes back and says, "Oh, from here to there, we're going to capture it."
Yeah, 700 I don't even know what this means, but it sounds impressive. 759 point phase detect autofocus with tracking. That sounds like
Yeah.
a whole lot of autofocus.
Yeah, instead of it
Um,
picking a couple points and saying that's what's it's there's 700 different points that it's evaluating. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's obviously it looks like it's not coming till February. And
Well, it's time for me to save up that 5 grand
yeah,
and then
yeah,
another
Apple
grand for
Vision
the
Pro
lens.
or the Sony A9 III, but yeah, it's obviously out of the price range of most people. But the fact that this technology is being released, Sony, you
Well,
bought a
but
Sony camera. I'm jealous of your Sony camera. Sony has been doing amazing things with cameras. And so hopefully this will filter out and become more prevalent.
and for those of you just joining us, what you're seeing here is not my Sony camera
Yes,
with
yes.
its, very slimy what am I thinking of here? Uh, what's this called? Uh,
Jitter?
no, uh, this is embarrassing, the film term, motion blur, with all its
Oh,
motion blur and
yes.
pixelations and outblown highlights. Uh, so,
You should have just grabbed a Game Boy camera or something. It would have been more fun that way.
well, you know what? You've inspired me to change my pick of the week. So more on
Oh,
Game Boy camera later.
ooh, nice.
So,
Well, the Sony camera is coming in the future, but if we look back just a few years, I have a link in the show notes, a quick look back at the official announcement of Microsoft Windows 1.0 40 years ago.
oh,
November
you're getting
10th.
all slow and chunky. Is your battery? Are you on battery power?
Oh, I am not on battery power. What's taking my data? Come on. Look all around to my different screens. I'll open up activity monitors, see what if anything's crunch me there. But 40 years of Microsoft Windows, Dave.
40 years of Microsoft Windows. How much more we could have done in 40 years if we would have been in charge of Microsoft? What would you have done differently?
Not released Clippy. Uh,
I
stuck
wouldn't
with
have
the
gone on
phones.
stage. I wouldn't have treated my body poorly, gained a bunch of weight, gone on stage, sweated a bunch, and yelled, "Developers, developers, developers,
Yes.
developers." I would not have done that.
Yes.
I
Yes,
would have
there are.
gotten
You could
fat,
go
but I
back
wouldn't have
and
gone on stage.
had a long list of things that Windows, but yeah, I mean they really between them and Apple, they started the computer revolution.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
oh man, yeah, my
You're
CPU
normal
load
now.
seems a little high.
You're okay now.
Okay. Phew.
It's Sonoma. Tell you what. And
Sonoma.
here's what I'm
Uh,
gonna do. I'm gonna buy a Mac Studio, like a thick boy Mac Mini,
mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna rev it up. I'm gonna put Big Sur on it,
Ooh,
and I'm just gonna run like a 10-year-old operating system. It's not 10
yes.
years old, but close.
Well, with a peek behind the curtain, we use OBS for our live broadcast that Dave commands all of it. And it doesn't seem to be as happy on Mac as it is on Windows, we hear, but we really like Windows. And
Oh,
so,
oh, we no, we really like Mac. I think is
or
what
we
you meant to
really
say.
like Mac. We really, we were just talking about Windows, but
Right. Hey,
yeah, but
I kind of a hack. If I put my arms up, my
well,
exposure seems to change a little bit.
yeah, I wonder if it's that light on your shelf that
Well, I
really throws it.
thought maybe it was, but look at this. I think it's because it wants more things that are light colored, and my arms are light
Oh,
colored. Here,
there you go.
I'll just
So
take off
just
my
kick
shirt.
back. Yeah, please don't.
We're
Well,
PG.
yes, this is one that you found, Dave, but it's already been rescinded. Microsoft pulls things that we wish Microsoft wouldn't have done. Microsoft pulls OneDrive update that would quiz you before letting you quit. Uh,
I
so they
tell
were
you,
starting to roll this out where you had to select a reason for quitting, just quitting, not even uninstalling
yeah,
OneDrive. And as somebody that works on with people with a lot of Windows computers, I mean, they have really pushed OneDrive. And it is a great service if you're on Windows
it's
and
like
you're trying to do
iCloud or
file sharing.
Google
Yeah,
Drive or whatever.
yes. But yeah, a drop down survey just to be able to quit
These are the
OneDrive.
things when I ask what I would do differently in the 40 years.
Yes.
One, I would not start inserting ads into my operating system. I would not move
Yes.
the taskbar to the middle, and I
Yes.
wouldn't be getting in the way of people from quitting an application with a stupid survey. Like, who decides these things? It is
Yeah.
asinine.
Uh, well, they have taken that away reportedly. So there was a lot of ire online about this as the story was out there. So I was glad to see that they have pulled that update. But yeah,
Yeah, crazy.
man,
Well, I
Windows
mean,
is a lot better than it used to be. I will say that. But yeah, there's still just the ads and the
just these
cluttered
decisions.
start menu and some of it is just not real fun. And they just really, I mean, if you look, I somebody posted recently all of the Apple what do we call it? The not taskbar. I'm in Windows mode now. They're all
Doc,
your app, the dock from the very beginning to the Sonoma version, and they had just little tiny screenshots. And this is really fun when I do this because I have one, two, three, four, five different windows of me all slightly off. So I need to start breakdancing over here. Some
you're
fun motion in my peripheral vision as I'm
you're like
trying
a
to focus
CMOS
on
sensor
stuff.
of that camera that we're talking about. You get
Yes,
Jellyvision.
yes, exactly. But I don't even remember the dock. Now they have fine-tuned it, but overall it's just the same. And Windows, I mean, like you were saying, with Windows 11, they just moved the all the dock into the middle of the screen from the left of the screen where it had been forever.
Yeah,
The start menu, they just completely changed that around every version, and it's really jarring for a lot of users. A lot of users, they know how to operate their computer to get their job done or do what they need to do. And then when you change everything, they have to relearn that. And it's just not, I mean, how long has Apple had the Apple logo up in the upper left hand corner of the screen? 40 years?
since
That's
day one.
since day one. And it's consistent. You can go up there. Now, what's in there's changed a little bit, but overall, it's just stayed the same. Microsoft changes stuff too much. That's
They're
what I
not
would say
confident
back to
of
that.
their design, and Apple's some may say, well, they needed to have changed, and it is. like you said, evolved over time, but it's
Yeah.
incremental changes over time, not just in your face. We're gonna do a tile interface, and
Yeah.
then oh, we made a mistake, and now we're going back, and oh, now we're gonna put a bunch of ads, and now we're gonna move the bar. They Here's what I would do different. The last thing on Microsoft, what I do different is when they started developing, I think it was their ARM-based technologies for their Surface tablets.
Mm,
Aren't those ARM-based chips and stuff?
yes.
They had Windows, I don't know, it wasn't called Windows Mobile or whatever, but they had two Windows, and it was like you can run full Windows if you buy this package, but if you
Yes.
buy this package, you can buy like mobile Windows, and some apps were developed to support both chipsets, but some weren't. And if you bought this one, you'd have to rebuy it. It was all very confusing. I think they should have at that time done what Apple did with the iPad, and they said, this is a new platform. Your Mac apps won't run on this.
Yeah.
If developers want to make an app for this, they can. And if they would have done that, they would have had this sleek, efficient mobile operating system without all the years of overhead of Windows on top of it. And they could have started fresh. And then, like Apple, they could have got a mature product and then moved that back to the desktop. And
Yeah.
then now but whatever.
They're
Look what
not
they've done to
listening
my
to
boy.
us,
Look
Satya
what they've done.
Nadella. But, anyways, we do have kind of a security and privacy story this week.
Really?
Uh, yes, I was looking at some headlines just before the show, and I saw a report of some major breach from some major medical healthcare system, but we're not talking about that today.
It wasn't
This
Providence, I
is
hope.
No, it
Okay.
wasn't. It was one that McLaren or something I hadn't heard of.
It's my car
Um,
brand. Go on.
yes. This one comes from Schneier on security, who we reference him a lot. He's one of the top security guys, and it's an online retail hack. And I've seen memes about this in the past and heard stories, but selling miniature replicas to unsuspecting shoppers. Online marketplaces sell tiny pink cowboy hats. They also sell miniature pencil sharpeners, palm sized kitchen utensils, scaled down books, and camping chairs so small they evoke the Stonehenge scene in This Is Spinal Tap. Many of the minuscule objects aren't clearly advertised,
What?
but
Wait.
there is no.
Why do these things exist? Are these for like dolls or like train sets?
No, it's just like you go to Amazon, you search for camping chair, you see a camping chair and say, that looks nice. But it goes on from this article, which I believe was New York Times or something, where it was behind a
Miniatures?
paywall.
What? Where am I
Keep
getting
listening.
miniatures? Tiny,
Miniature,
tiny, tiny pink
tiny.
cowboy hats.
Yes, yes. But there is no
Miniature
doubt.
pencil sharpeners,
Yes.
palm size. But why? Why
To,
do these things exist?
well, there are many reasons. Maybe you are doing some miniature photography or something, but
Like
this
hobbyist? Okay, okay. I'll
May
let
I
you
keep
continue.
reading so that
Yeah, I
maybe
just
some of your questions will be
it's
answered?
such a weird thing to care about.
Yes, but there is no doubt some online sellers deliberately trick customers into buying smaller and often cheaper to produce items, which are said. Common tactics include displaying products against a white background rather than in room sets or on models, or photographing items with a perspective that makes them appear bigger than they really are. Dimensions can be hidden deep in the product description or not included at
Oh.
all. In those instances, the duped consumer may say, well, it's only $1, $2, maybe $3. What's the harm? When the item arrives, the shopper may be confused, amused, or frustrated, but unlikely to complain or demand a refund. When you aggregate that to these companies who are selling hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of these items over time, that adds up to a nice chunk of change. It's finding a loophole in how society works and making money off of it.
Okay.
Now, I think my wife, there was something that Chelsea bought, and it wasn't like a camp chair or something, but I think maybe a toy or I think I want to say it was like when Isla was a kid. Maybe it was like those foam alphabet maps or
Okay.
pieces that arrange on the floor, and she got it, and that they were like 2 inch by 2 inch squares instead of 1 foot by 1 foot.
Uh, Dr. Dr. RIP VHS producer Todd says clearly Dave has never seen the, gotta lift it up, souvenir VHS on my page of the Miniatures Museum of British Columbia. I bet they have tiny lawn chairs. But I think I understand what's happening. You
Yes.
see a pink cowboy hat, which we all
Yes.
have, and it's a large photo, and it's 6.99, and you purchase it thinking it will fit on a human-sized head. But when you
Yes.
get it, it's the size of a thimble because it's really a hobbyist model that has been made to appear large.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So,
Diabolical. I got to write this
yes.
down. It's
So, like,
unreal.
if you do go to the link from the Schneier on security to the Wall Street Journal, where the whole article's behind the paywall,
Yeah,
the header
I'm
image
not going to do
is
that.
somebody's hand, and they have what looks like 12 gold coat hangers on their finger, which you would go and you go, ooh, some gold coat hangers, $5. I'm going to order these, and then you get them, and they're made for mouse
Dolls.
coats.
For GI
So,
Joes.
yes,
Those are
yeah,
action figures, by the way, not dolls. I
dolls.
was not playing with dolls when I was a child.
Yes, yes. Well, after that, which was kind of an odd take, we will go on to our bonus odd take of the week. And this is one of our annual bonus odd takes. I found it via kotkey.org. We have the
Mm.
gallery of winners and finalists from the Comedy Wildlife Photography
Has it
Awards.
already been a year?
I think there must be multiples of these because it seems like we have one about every 3 months.
Okay.
But this is, I know we have done this one before.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this is just these amazing wildlife photos that are of the funny variety.
You looking at me, bro?
Very meme worthy comedy
Mm-hmm.
wildlife photos. And I am going to search our uh, show notes just to see when we last had episode 367. We had the 2022 Comedy Wildlife
Hmm.
Photography Awards. So that would be about a year ago.
I found a picture of a girl I used to date in college who's now married and has kids. She's on the beach.
Inappropriate.
Well,
Inappropriate. But there are some good ones in here, just to be able to capture these moments and some of them with perspective.
I'm starting to
Uh,
get the humor in some of these.
Yes, there is a giraffe that looks like it put its head where it should not. There's a looks like a kangaroo or a wallaby playing air guitar.
This is no
Uh,
joke. That's dangerous. Somebody's gonna get
yes,
hurt.
some
Horses are
horse
scary.
sparring. They are, but yeah, it's a fun little look. And
Yeah.
credit to these people for capturing this stuff because it is just
I can
impressive.
even take a picture of like landscapes, and
Yeah,
these guys are
yes.
getting animals in incredible poses.
In compromising positions.
I mean, that's just
Oh,
art. That's just
yeah,
beautiful. Look at that
yeah. What
pose,
is
that
that?
little
Is it
otter or whatever he is. What
some
is that?
otter ballet? I need to go over these with Isla. She would get a kick out of these. And this comes from Amazing Internet, award-winning websites is the sponsor of
Hmm.
the wildlife photography.
ComedyWildlifePhoto.com.
Yes, indeed. Well, you know what is not a compromising position? Our picks of the
That was
week.
said with so much authority. Like I said earlier, I'm calling an audible, and I'm going to
Ooh.
switch up my pick of the week, which was going to be something that's, um, I'll give you a taste of what it's going to be, something like that for next time.
Ooh. Yes.
Um, but this week, we were uh, joking that I had a Game Boy camera, and
Yeah.
in essence, I do. Have you ever heard of this app called BitCam?
Ooh.
So what
I
it
believe I
is a
have.
1-bit camera. There is no
Yes.
gray. It is black and white. You can do such things as not that. That was share. No, that's okay. Here we go. I think I can flip to the selfie camera and look at this. Oh, geez. Oh, this is gonna be rough. No, no, I'm wrong. Let me switch it back off selfie camera. Here
Yeah,
we go.
let's
Now
improve your vid. Oh, wow, that's much better,
this is
Dave.
the look I was going for. So maybe next week I'll use this as my camera. And I
Yes.
believe the app is 99 cents or $1.99, and it takes great 2-bit photos, and they're incredibly small because it's literally black and white pixels. It's amazing. And I'm
Yes.
just, I'm thinking if it's the end of the world and there wasn't good signal everywhere, this might be a great tool to minimize data, but still have a lot of stuff that you could send. So here you can adjust to fat bits, which is a
Oh,
chunkier
yeah.
version of it. It's really hard for me to see it and show you at the same time, but there I am. And then there's another setting. Here are the settings screens. As you can get super res, which is smaller pixels, standard, which is what I was on. Then I'm on fat bits, and you can pay $1.99, which I did, to install color graphics. And look at
Nice.
this. You can even get color fat
Oh,
bits
that is
going.
pretty cool.
Yeah, so if you
Yes,
recall
it
the
does
original
have
Macintosh, it had just a 2-bit screen. Or was it 1 bit? It's 1 bit.
1 bit.
Yeah.
Yes, the color graphics card, $1.99. It is a free app.
Okay.
And Dave, I can't believe that you forgot that you made this your pick of the week.
Oh,
You
I
were
know I did years
calling an
ago.
audible. Episode 207.
Yeah,
So exactly 207, 414. So that is
double.
exactly halfway between when we started the podcast and today.
Yeah.
You made the pick of the week. What are the chances? That was episode 207, safely landing the Segue from November 27th, 2019. Our show art was Elon Musk in front of a Cybertruck with a broken window, which is also interesting because the Cybertrucks are actually
Still not
starting
out.
to ship now,
Are they?
or barely. They are producing them now. I don't know if they've started shipping. And Dave, this my mind is
Your mind is
blown,
blowing.
blown right now. I
And
am
I'm blurry too, so go on. Oh,
my I'm this is crazy. What are the chances of this? If you'll remember back earlier in this episode when I mentioned that WeWork seeks bankruptcy, our story, one of our follow-up stories was WeWork lays off 2,400 employees. What are
wow.
the chances of that?
It's taken them 207 episodes to finally go bankrupt?
Yeah. I'm trying to
Amazing.
see if there's anything else interesting in that episode.
Is there
Oh, there was
anything
a
about Sony
T-Mobile
cameras?
breach.
What's that?
There was a T-Mobile breach. We've had a few more of
Mm,
those. My MacBook Pro 16-inch was my pick of the week when I got. I think that was two MacBook Pro
hmm
16 inches, but they
It
just
was.
released
That was the
the
Intel version.
M3s. Yes. Let's see. Facebook gets into the meme making biz with Whale app, which I think is long gone.
Hey, I have an
Um,
idea for a new segment. We could just do 100 episodes ago.
yes, yes. Halfway ago to the beginning, but that is so crazy that multiple things in that episode related to today. But
Yeah, that's
I will
amazing.
put a link to that in the show notes so you can go
Maybe
back and revisit that one.
maybe we're just not as original as we think.
Yes, it is the same stuff just over and over and over again.
Maybe we're just
But
living in a simulation.
before I get to my pick, one of the things that I had thought about bringing back and I hadn't yet, and I didn't prepare for it today, but I do see in the show notes there our Amazon purchase of the week. And since we are back on the good side of Amazon affiliate program, and
I don't have
you guys
the
can buy
sounder.
stuff through. Oh, yeah, we need to get that back
hmm
because I want to reintroduce that and encourage you to go over to notpicks.com and do your shopping as we get close to Black Friday and holiday shopping coming up. Make sure you always go to notpicks.com first to find what you want to buy. But now to my pick.
Mm.
before we go too late into the night. Dave, I want you to look at this. This is an iPad. And what do you see on said iPad?
I see the picture of the Sonoma Valley that's on the Sonoma operating system that's on my monitor right now. I'm getting Inception.
Yes.
Who am I inside my
And
monitor?
I am showing you macOS Sonoma. Now, I was not able to install Sonoma on my iPad, but you will notice I've got a cable coming off of here. So
I
my
thought
pick
maybe
of
you're
the week
running
this
Jump
week
Desktop or something.
is the very cool Orion app, which we did
Mm.
mention
Mm-hmm.
a few weeks back. And I'm going to show this is what happens when you open the app and you don't have anything plugged in.
Right.
Um, it is a very cool app from Lux. Ooh, that's very bright. Lux.camera, who also makes Halide. So if you go in here and man, that got really,
There you
there
go.
we go. You can pull to open the
It's very
package.
tactile.
Yes, and they had a lot of fun making this app, and I'm also seeing it's probably about time to clean my iPad screen. But they've got this cool manual,
Ah,
everything.
my
Did you
my
break the
HomePod
internet?
started talking, and so I touched it. Then it started playing music.
Oh, nice. Um, so what this Orion app does is it becomes an external monitor. Now, I had a Mac Mini, the one that I was showing you, from a client, and
Mm.
I was having problems remoting in, getting it connected to the internet. I didn't want to unplug a monitor or do anything. I was like, hey, I'm going to try out that Orion app. And it is very nice. Now, there's plenty of other options for doing that sort of thing, especially with a Mac, but this will work with your DSLR for an external monitor, gaming systems. They actually have an upgrade. I think you pay $5 and you
I
can
bought it.
actually make it look like a CRT
Mm-hmm.
screen and do all that. Now, they in their manual and on their website, they have recommendations for the second part of my pick,
Mm.
which is an HDMI dongle. Now, I have other ones like this. I have
Do you have a cam link?
USB-C docks. I have a cam link, but it's USB-A.
Yeah,
Um, and I just need to
they make
sell that thing.
adapters.
Yes, which I have many of the adapters, but they recommended this one, which is $19 on Amazon, and this has video capture technology like the Cam Link, a previous pick of the week, or other things, but much cheaper than the Cam Link. How much? Do you remember what we paid for those
100
Cam Links?
bones.
100 bones. So for $19, and they tested a bunch of them and recommend a bunch of different ones. But you get this little thing, and now if I'm out going to visit a client and they've got a computer that's not working or monitor that's not working, I can just use my iPad and this cable with HDMI
Hmm.
and be able to test things out. So it's already come in handy for me.
I think I'm gonna have to
Um,
get one of those adapters because my cam link with the adapter and the HDMI cable, it's like this long by the time it's done, you
Yes,
know.
yeah. So just having this nice little HD video capture, no brand whatsoever on there. Um, but yeah, the Orion app, Halide, their camera app is amazing. I think they have a couple other apps too, but they
I have
decided to
some
make
notes
this
on their user
Orion app.
interface, but
Um,
otherwise it's a
and
good
I'm
app.
yeah, I want to get set up like a camera rig where I have my Canon M50 and like this is my preview monitor on there and
Hey
all my
Nate,
other camera gadgets that I have all together.
as much
Yes,
as I
Dave.
complain about user interface, maybe I should be a user interface designer.
Yes.
And I also thought, here, let's try some of this technology. So I'm going to show everybody a photo of my ATEM Mini and my little box that I've been working on where I have all the
Yeah.
cables.
Yeah, your
And
little
there's this
Go
my
streaming Go rig.
my rig. But see that screen up there? It's a portable monitor. It's
Yeah.
plugged into HDMI and it's got an HDMI out and it's got like color vectors and volume and audio out. So it's
Yeah,
it's
I've
very
got one of those sitting right
yeah. Do you
around
have
here
one?
too. Somewhere in my stacks of goodies.
You have everything within arm's reach. That's pretty
Yes.
astounding. I'm going to get out of the frame. Maybe it'll go back in focus.
That's
It won't
maybe a
go
future pick of the week.
back. So as you're looking for that monitor, I can see how getting an iPad mini, which I used to have, um,
Yeah,
and that cable, I could put in the lid of my case, have a larger screen that's much lighter.
yeah.
Now,
An iPad Mini? I've got a
yeah,
couple of those laying around.
nice. I've got one or two up on my shelf. But here's the biggest question. How do you both power your iPad and put video into it? Are you just relying
Mm.
on your 10 hours of battery to do everything? What if it's at 1% and you're like, "Oh my, I can't use my monitor."
Yes,
How do you solve that?
I I have thought about that, and I am curious if you put one of these into like a powered USB-C dock, if that would work. Now, I've been watching several videos on this sort of thing because with the new iPhone 15s Pro, you have the ProRes log video shooting.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of people that have been testing out different gadgets on that.
Well,
So
could I output the video from my iPhone into my iPad with one of these things? Convert it to
I
HDMI and then back into,
I
I
think
bet you
I
can.
tried that, and maybe I just didn't have it connected up right. But that would be cool to be
Well,
able
you'd
to
have to
use
have an
your
HDMI out cable for your,
yeah.
you'd
So
have to
you'd
have
need a
USB-C.
USB-C to
Oh,
HDMI
just a
to.
regular. Yeah, I don't know, man. We're talking about stuff we don't know.
I
But,
know
well, here's
stuff
the
that we
thing.
should test out and then tell the
Yeah,
viewers if it works or not.
you can hook an iPad with USB-C to a monitor. You can do that.
Yes.
I do not believe you can do that with the phone if you have a USB-C to HDMI adapter, but you could do it with Lightning phones. So you could potentially put my old iPhone 7 with my little HDMI dongle. I could put that into my Cam Link and display this on my iPad, making the most worthless thing you ever could with so much money. Like, how can you spend a lot of money and accomplish nothing?
Yeah.
That would be
Yes.
the thing.
Yeah. So I've got. Oh,
Man, this
Dave.
is exciting. I guess look.
This is because live update, there's our podcast.
Yeah.
I have got a USB-C hub
Okay.
that has HDMI
All right. Oh, Jesus, is ridiculous.
with an HDMI going to that little pick of the week thing for my HD video capture. And then I hold up my iPad
Wow. Look at that.
and I've got the audio coming through
Huh.
my iPad. So I could, in
You could
theory,
just turn your iPad on to YouTube, but this is so
so
much
it's doing a
more ridiculous.
screen.
Can you rotate the
Uh,
screen if you go in
it
full screen?
doesn't seem to be
Hmm.
rotating.
This is amazing. Now you're out of focus too, and so all is right with the world.
Perfect. Yeah. So, anyways, as we ramble on and I try to
This is where I
grab
need
every
my
gadget
overhead
near me,
cam so we can play with all these things.
play with all the technology, but I can mirror the image to
Okay.
my iPad from my iPhone. Now,
Now, why don't they
getting
make
it to
this app for
landscape
iPhone?
and
That's what I want to.
they said that they did test it on the new iPhones 15, and there is something that does not work on the iPhones for that video in
Hmm.
that does work on the iPads with
It's going to be
USB-C.
revolutionary when
So,
it does because you can see all these guys around with their digital SLR cameras, and they've got an iPhone and a little cold shoe mount up here so that they could have a
yeah,
nice high quality display that's this big, that's really
yes,
light versus the chonker that I have or an iPad, which is they're pretty heavy too. So
yes.
exciting times.
Well, and it really all settles down to you should just be shooting the video on your iPhone anyways, because that's
I guess so.
such a great camera unless you have that new $6,000 Sony. But with that, before we go into hour 4 of the podcast, no, we're not too bad. We're just hour and 15 minutes. This is a long one,
That's
but we
child's
had
play.
stuff to ramble about.
Well, my watch says
We,
I got to take my old man pills, so we
your
can't
old
stay
man
too much
pills.
longer.
Yes. Yes. Well, With that, we will wrap up the episode. Make sure you check out all the links in the show notes. Head over to notpicks.com for all your holiday and Black Friday shopping. We do have one more episode before Black Friday, even though the sales have already started, but we'll try to cover some Black Friday stuff next week. Make sure you find us on all the socials, share it with a friend so that we can all get out there and tech better.